The tears were real. Standing there in the grocery store, watching a complete stranger berate the young cashier over a coupon that had expired 2 days ago. The teenager's hands trembled as she tried to explain the store policy, her voice barely a whisper against the torrent of anger directed at her. That moment changed everything I understood about anger, peace, and the incredible power we all hold within us. Every single one of us in that line was witnessing something painfully familiar, the surge of emotion that can transform an ordinary moment into a battlefield. But what struck me most wasn't the angry customer or the trembling cashier. It was the realization that in every moment of anger, we're actually facing a profound choice that most of us don't even know exists. You see, we've been taught a devastating lie our entire lives, a lie so deeply ingrained that it feels like truth. The lie that other people have the power to make us angry, that our peace is at the mercy of the world around us, that we are victims of circumstance, forever reacting to the actions and words of others. But what if I told you that this fundamental belief, this truth we've carried our whole lives, is actually the single greatest obstacle to our happiness? What if I could show you beyond any doubt that no one has ever made you angry in your entire life? That every moment of rage, frustration, and resentment was actually a choice, your choice, even though it never felt that way. I know what you're thinking right now. You're remembering that coworker who takes credit for your work, the family member who knows exactly which buttons to push, the stranger who cut you off in traffic this morning. You're thinking about all the times your anger felt completely justified, completely natural, completely unavoidable. And you're right, it did feel that way. But feelings aren't facts. And let's do something different right now. Instead of talking about theories or concepts, I want you to think about the last time you got angry. Really angry. Feel it again in your body. Notice how your shoulders tense, how your breath changes, how your heart begins to race. Now here's the question that will begin to change everything. In that moment of anger, where exactly did that emotion come from? Most of us would point to the external trigger, the person or situation that made us angry, but let's look deeper. Think about how different people respond to the exact same situation. One person explodes in rage when their flight is canceled, while another calmly pulls out their phone to explore alternatives. One employee storms out of a criticism-filled performance review, while another takes notes and asks questions about how to improve. Same situation, completely different reactions. How is this possible if the external event is truly the source of our anger? The truth is both liberating and challenging. Our anger isn't created by what happens to us, but by what happens within us. Our thoughts, our interpretations, our stories about what things mean. When we truly understand this, everything changes. The person who cuts us off in traffic isn't making us angry. We're choosing to interpret their action as a personal affront, rather than considering countless other possibilities. Maybe they're rushing to the hospital. Maybe they didn't see us. Maybe they're having the worst day of their life. Or maybe they're just inconsiderate. But even then, why would we give them the power to disturb our peace? This isn't about becoming passive or letting people walk all over us. It's about something far more powerful, reclaiming our emotional sovereignty. It's about understanding that between stimulus and response lies a space, and in that space lives our power to choose our reaction. This single realization has the potential to transform not just our moments of anger, but our entire experience of life. Think about how much energy you spend being angry. Not just in the obvious moments of outburst, but in all the subtle ways anger infiltrates our lives. The resentment we carry, the grudges we nurse, the arguments we replay in our minds. Now imagine redirecting all that energy towards something constructive. Imagine moving through life with an unshakable inner peace, not because the world has changed, but because you have. The truth is, anger is never really about what we think it's about. When we're angry at the slow driver in front of us, we're not really angry about the extra 2 minutes added to our commute. When we're angry at our partner for not doing the dishes, we're not really angry about the dishes. Our anger is almost always about something deeper. Understanding this is crucial because it shifts our focus from the external trigger to the internal cause. And while we often can't control the external world, we have absolute authority over our internal landscape, if we choose to claim it. This journey to unshakable peace begins with a simple but profound truth. Every moment of anger is actually a gift, an opportunity to understand ourselves more deeply. When you feel that familiar heat rising in your chest, that tension in your jaw, that surge of indignation, pause. In that pause lies the seed of transformation. Look at children for a moment. They come into this world free of anger, radiating pure joy and curiosity. No baby is born angry. This means that everything we know about anger, every pattern of reactive behavior, every trigger that sets us off, we learned it all. And what we can learn. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to control their anger through sheer willpower, through gritted teeth and clenched fists. They tell themselves, I won't get angry, I won't get angry, I won't get angry, and it works until it doesn't. Because fighting against anger only gives it more power. The real transformation comes not from resistance, but from understanding. Think about water for a moment. When you drop a stone into a still pond, ripples spread outward automatically. You don't have to tell the water to ripple. It's simply responding to the disturbance. Our anger works the same way. Something happens, and we ripple with emotion automatically. But unlike the water, we have the extraordinary ability to choose our response, if we learn how. The key lies in understanding that anger always comes from our thoughts about a situation, never from the situation itself. This isn't just positive thinking or philosophy, it's a practical truth that can transform your life. When someone criticizes you, it's not their words that create your anger, it's your interpretation of those words. Your thoughts about what their criticism means about you, about them, about your relationship. Let me share something powerful with you. Every time you feel angry, there's a thought that precedes that feeling. Always. It might be so quick you don't notice it, but it's there. They shouldn't have done that. This isn't fair. They're doing this on purpose. I don't deserve this. These thoughts seem like natural responses to the situation, but they're actually choices. Choices we've made so many times, they've become automatic. The real power comes when we learn to catch these thoughts before they become feelings. When we learn to question them before they ignite into anger. Is it really true that they shouldn't have done that? Says who? Is it really true that you know their intentions? Is it really true that this situation means what you think it means? This isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about something far more powerful, developing the ability to respond rather than react. Think about martial arts masters. Their power doesn't come from meeting force with force, but from understanding how to redirect energy. We can learn to do the same thing with our emotions. When someone's words or actions threaten to disturb your peace, imagine you're wearing a waterproof coat. The words are like rain. They can fall all around you, but they don't have to penetrate unless you choose to let them in. This doesn't mean you become cold or unfeeling. It means you maintain your power to choose how you'll engage with what's happening. Here's a truth that might shake you. People who anger you actually control you. Think about that for a moment. When you allow someone's actions or words to throw you into anger, you're handing them the remote control to your emotions. You're saying, "Here, you get to decide how I feel today." Is that really what you want? The path to freedom from anger begins with taking full responsibility for our emotional responses. This isn't about blame, it's about power. When we truly accept that no one can make us angry without our permission, we reclaim our emotional sovereignty. We stop being emotional puppets, jerked around by the words and actions of others. But this isn't just about personal peace. Your ability to maintain inner calm has a ripple effect that extends far beyond you. When you respond to hostility with tranquility, to aggression with peace, you change the entire dynamic of every situation. You become a force for peace in your home, your workplace, your community. Think about the last argument you had. Remember how it escalated? How each person's anger fed the others? How a small disagreement grew into something much bigger? Now imagine if one person in that dynamic had remained completely calm, completely centered. How different would the outcome have been? This is the power you hold when you master your response to anger. The truth is, anger is often a mask for deeper emotions. Fear, hurt, disappointment, powerlessness. When we learn to look beneath our anger, to ask ourselves what we're really feeling, what we really need, we begin to develop emotional intelligence. Consider your mind like a garden. Every angry thought you nurture is like planting a weed. Every peaceful response you choose is like planting a flower. Over time, your garden becomes what you consistently plant and tend to. The beautiful truth is that you are the gardener of your own mind. I want to share something profound that happened in a busy coffee shop last week. A man spilled his entire drink on a woman's white dress. Everyone froze, waiting for the explosion. But instead of anger, she took a deep breath and said, "Well, looks like the universe wanted me to go shopping today." The entire atmosphere of the place changed. People who had tensed for conflict found themselves smiling. That's the power of choosing peace over anger. It transforms not just us, but everyone around us. You see, most of us live our lives in a reactive state, like leaves blown about by every emotional wind that passes. We think this is normal because it's common. But common doesn't mean natural. Our natural state is peace. Let's talk about something we all face: difficult people. You know the ones I mean. The colleague who never meets deadlines but always has excuses. The family member who criticizes everything you do. The neighbor who seems to live to complain. We often feel these people are placed in our lives specifically to test our patience. But what if every difficult person in your life is offering you an opportunity to practice peace? They're giving you a chance to strengthen your emotional muscles, just as weights at the gym strengthen your physical muscles. The problem isn't that we have difficult people in our lives. The problem is that we haven't learned how to use their presence for our growth. Here's a powerful practice. The next time someone pushes your buttons, instead of reacting, get curious. Ask yourself, what am I learning here? What part of me is being triggered? What story am I telling myself about this situation? This simple shift from reaction to curiosity can completely transform your experience. But let's be real, this isn't easy. We're fighting against neural pathways that have been reinforced for years, maybe decades. Every time we've reacted with anger, we've strengthened these pathways. The good news is that our brains are remarkably plastic. we can create new pathways. Every time we choose peace over anger, we're literally rewiring our brain. Think about the last time you were stuck in traffic. Cars backed up as far as you could see. People honking, cutting each other off, their faces twisted with frustration. Now, being angry in that situation won't make the traffic move faster. It won't change anything except your own experience of that moment. So why do we do it? Because we haven't yet learned that we have a choice. Here's a truth that might change your life. Peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the ability to remain calm within the conflict. Imagine being so centered, so grounded in your own serenity that nothing can shake you. Not because you're suppressing your emotions, but because you've learned to respond rather than react. Let me share a practice that can transform your relationship with anger forever. I call it the 3-breath reset. The moment you feel anger rising, stop. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. With the first breath, acknowledge what you're feeling. With the second breath, ask yourself what you really need in this moment. With the third breath, choose your response consciously. This simple practice can break the automatic cycle of anger and give you back your power to choose. Remember, anger is always a secondary emotion. Behind every burst of anger is a primary emotion: fear, hurt, disappointment, shame. When we learn to identify and address these primary emotions, anger loses its power over us. It's like treating the cause rather than the symptom. Here's another powerful truth. Most of the time, when people do things that anger us, they're acting from their own pain, their own struggles, their own limited understanding. This doesn't mean we excuse bad behavior, but understanding this can help us respond with compassion rather than anger. When someone is rude to you, remember, hurt people hurt people. The real question isn't whether we can eliminate all triggers from our lives. We can't. The question is whether we can learn to remain peaceful in the face of those triggers. Can we learn to be like the mountain, unmoved by the winds that blow against it? Can we learn to be like the deep ocean, undisturbed by the storms that rage on its surface? This journey to inner peace isn't about becoming passive or letting people walk all over you. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you're no longer reactive, when you're no longer at the mercy of your anger, you become more powerful than you can imagine. You can stand up for yourself, set boundaries, and address conflicts from a place of clarity rather than chaos. Think about the energy you spend on anger, the sleepless nights replaying arguments in your head, the stress hormones flooding your system, the relationships damaged by words spoken in anger. Now imagine redirecting all that energy toward growth, creativity, and connection. That's what becomes possible when you master your response to anger. There's a story that perfectly illustrates our relationship with anger. A group of travelers comes upon a village where people have been carrying heavy rocks in their backpacks their entire lives. When asked why, the villagers reply, "This is just what we do. This is what our parents did, and their parents before them." The travelers ask if anyone has ever tried putting down the rocks. The villagers look confused. The thought had never occurred to them. We are those villagers, carrying the weight of our anger, simply because we've never seriously considered the possibility of putting it down. We've accepted anger as a natural, inevitable part of life, never questioning whether there might be another way. Consider how often we justify our anger, defend it, even pride ourselves on it. Well, anyone would be angry in this situation. You don't understand what they did to me. I have every right to be angry. We wear our anger like a badge of honor, never realizing it's actually a chain around our necks. But here's where transformation becomes possible. Start noticing the cost of your anger. Not just the obvious costs, the damaged relationships, the stressed body, the lost opportunities, but the subtle ones. Notice how anger narrows your vision, both literally and figuratively. Notice how it makes your world smaller, your options fewer, your joy dimmer. Let's talk about something that might sound radical. What if every person who has ever angered you was actually sent into your life for a specific purpose? What if they were meant to show you something about yourself that you needed to see? This isn't about excusing their behavior. It's about using every experience, even the painful ones, for your growth. When someone cuts you off in traffic, they're giving you an opportunity to practice patience. When a coworker takes credit for your work, they're giving you an opportunity to practice assertiveness without aggression. When someone criticizes you unfairly, they're giving you an opportunity to practice self. Here's a powerful practice. For 1 week, commit to treating your anger as a messenger rather than an enemy. When you feel that familiar heat rising, instead of trying to suppress it or justify it, get curious. Ask your anger, what are you trying to tell me? What needs of mine aren't being met? This isn't about becoming some sort of emotional superhero who never feels negative emotions. It's about developing a new relationship with those emotions. Think of anger like a smoke alarm. The alarm isn't the fire, it's alerting you to the fire. Your anger isn't the problem, it's alerting you to the problem. But just as a malfunctioning smoke alarm can go off when there's no real danger, our anger can flare up when there's no real threat. Let me share a technique that can transform your response to anger in any situation. I call it the what's really true practice. When you feel anger arising, pause and ask yourself these questions. Is what I'm telling myself about this situation absolutely true? Can I be completely certain that my interpretation is accurate? What other perspectives might be possible? Most of our anger comes from the stories we tell ourselves about what things mean. Someone doesn't return our call, and we tell ourselves they're disrespecting us. A project doesn't go as planned, and we tell ourselves it means we're failures. Someone disagrees with us, and we tell ourselves they're attacking us personally. But these are just stories, and we can choose different ones. Here's another powerful truth. Your peace is too precious to be given away to every person or situation that demands your anger. Think about that. Every time you become angry, you're literally giving away your peace to something or someone else. Consider this. The person who angered you will probably go about their day without giving it another thought, while you carry that anger around like a hot coal, burning only yourself. Does that seem like a fair exchange? Does it seem wise? The path to lasting peace requires us to develop new emotional habits. Just as you wouldn't expect to get physically fit by going to the gym once, you can't expect to master your anger through occasional practice. It requires daily commitment, moment-by-moment choices. Start small. Choose one trigger, maybe your morning commute, or a particular person who often annoys you, and make that your practice ground. Commit to maintaining your peace in just that one situation. Once you've mastered that, choose another. Like building any skill, it's about consistent, focused practice that can. Remember, your anger never punishes the other person. It punishes you. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Every moment you spend in anger is a moment of peace you can never get back. Every angry thought you nurture is planting a seed of unhappiness in your own mind. But here's the beautiful truth. Just as you can learn anger, you can unlearn it. Just as you can cultivate rage, You can cultivate peace. The choice is yours, in every moment, with every breath. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You are their master, if you choose to be. The real miracle isn't that we can put aside our anger, it's that we can transform it into something beautiful. Every moment of anger contains within it the seeds of profound understanding, if we're willing to look deeply enough. Every difficult person in our lives offers us an opportunity to strengthen our commitment to peace. What would your life look like if you decided right now that nothing was worth disturbing your peace? Not traffic, not criticism, not other people's behavior, not even your own past mistakes. What if you decided that your serenity was more valuable than being right, more precious than proving a point, more important than defending your ego? Think about the energy of anger. It's hot, contracted, heavy. Now think about the energy of peace. It's cool, expanded, light. Which would you rather carry through your life? Which would you rather bring into your relationships? Which would you rather leave as your legacy? Consider this profound truth. Everything we give attention to grows stronger in our lives. When we focus on what angers us, we find more reasons to be angry. When we focus on maintaining our peace, we discover more ways to stay peaceful. It's like tuning a radio. Whatever frequency you tune into, that's what you'll hear. But here's where many people get stuck. They say, I want to be peaceful, but you don't understand my situation. They believe their anger is justified by their circumstances. And perhaps it is justified, but is it helpful? Is it serving you? Is it creating the life you want to live? The path to unshakable peace requires us to make a fundamental shift in how we view our emotional responses. Instead of asking, is my anger justified? Start asking, is my anger useful? Instead of asking, who's to blame? Start asking, what can I learn? Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, how can I grow from this? Remember that coffee shop story I shared earlier? That woman who responded to having her dress ruined with humor and grace? She demonstrated something powerful, that our response to any situation is a choice. And that choice has the power to transform not just our own experience, but the experience of everyone around us. Your peace of mind is not just a personal matter, it's your gift to the world. When you maintain your serenity in the face of chaos, you become a living demonstration of what's possible. You become a lighthouse, showing others the way to their own inner peace. Your calm presence can do more to transform a situation. Think about the people you most admire, the ones who have had the most positive influence on your life. Were they the ones who were quick to anger, quick to judge, quick to react? Or were they the ones who maintained their composure, who responded with wisdom and understanding, who showed you by example that there was another way? The journey to lasting peace isn't about reaching some distant destination. It's about how we travel. It's about the choices we make in each moment, the thoughts we choose to nurture, the responses we choose to cultivate. Every time you choose peace over anger, you're not just changing that moment, you're changing your entire future. Consider this. Every moment of peace you experience creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond you. Your calm presence affects everyone you encounter. Your peaceful response to difficulty shows others what's possible. Your refusal to engage with anger creates space for understanding and connection. The truth is, inner peace isn't something we need to achieve. It's our natural state. It's what remains when we stop disturbing ourselves with angry thoughts, judgments, and reactions. Like the sun that's always shining above the clouds, our inner peace is always there, waiting to be revealed when we clear away the clouds of anger and resentment. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this. Your capacity for peace is limitless. Your ability to remain calm in the face of chaos is infinite. Your power to choose your response in any situation is absolute. These aren't just nice ideas, they're fundamental truths about who you are. And starting right now, make a commitment to yourself. Commit to treating your peace of mind as your most precious possession. Commit to questioning your angry thoughts before believing them. Commit to responding rather than reacting. Commit to being a force for peace in your world. Remember, every moment of anger is an invitation to choose differently. Every trigger is a teacher. Every difficult person is an opportunity to practice. Every challenging situation is a chance to demonstrate what you've learned. You already have everything you need to begin this journey. You have the awareness to notice when anger arises. You have the power to pause before reacting. You have the wisdom to choose peace. You have the strength to maintain your serenity even in difficult circumstances. The choice is yours in every moment. Choose peace not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Choose peace not because others deserve it, but because you deserve it. Choose peace not as a distant goal to be achieved, but as a present reality to be lived. Let your commitment to peace be stronger than your habits of anger. Let your desire for serenity be greater than your need to be right. Let your love of peace be more powerful than your fear of what others might think or do. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. This is your invitation to step into a new way of being. The door to lasting peace stands open before you. Will you walk through it? The power is yours. The choice is yours. The peace is yours. Claim it.